Hey there, it's Stephen and Corey. On today's episode of Get It Together Together, we're getting real about seven questions that only secure couples can handle.
Yes, and so we're going to help you answer those questions in a safe environment. So, ready to transform your relationship?
Let's go.
Yep, stick around and see what we find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stephen and Corey and Get It Together Together. I'm Stephen
And I'm Corey.
Awesome.
And today we are on our final episode for season 3. And we want to tell you what a great time we had with you guys this past season.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean,
our guests were just spectacular.
spectacular is the right word.
It is. They really answered a lot of questions that you guys have had. And the stories they told of their lives was like so diverse, going from a couple who've been married for over 40 years to a couple who've been married 10 years, So these are the things that we enjoy sharing with you because it's real life. It's real marriage. It's real getting it together.
That's right.
And so as we went on this journey with you this season, some things that we discovered about ourselves we're doing really well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Year 41.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, 41. Yeah, we're doing really well. And we learned a lot from others who have been married longer and who have been married shorter.
Absolutely.
We hope you guys have too. And if you haven't seen any of the episodes or not all of the episodes, we encourage you to go head down and look at the history of all the things that we've done, our videos and our reels. I think you'll get a real kick out of some of these couples, as well as not just the couples, but we've had some really interesting topics this year this season to discuss with you. And I found that I've grown in certain areas just by delving into those topics. I hope you guys have too. Have you?
I certainly have. And, as we dive deep into this current episode, it would not be fair if we didn't say how much we appreciate your, watching our podcast, your communication with us. And we want to take it to another level actually in 2025 as we move forward, because there are so many exciting things going on and we are passionate about helping couples succeed in every dimension. So, we're talking today about 7 questions, that only secure couples can handle. Are you a secure couple?
I
don't know. You're about to find out.
I was going to say, I think you're going to find out if you're secure or not. Yeah.
But we have to say to you that this is a safe space, okay? Together as we go through this, keep in mind that this is not for us to attack each other or anything like that. These are really 7 deep, probing questions that on the surface seem a little bit simplistic.
Yeah, these questions will pretty much break you out of your romantic comfort zone.
That's right.
And that's for the better, because we do get into these comfort zones as couples, don't we?
It's so easy.
It is. It's so easy because we're like, well, we're satisfied. It's okay.
Yeah.
But really, the work required to do this might be uncomfortable.
That's right.
But it can reveal potential within your relationship.
That's right.
Both good and bad potential that you likely haven't even considered before.
That's right.
So by taking these steps together, remember, you're doing this together. If you're looking at this, go get your spouse. Go get your partner and say, hey, come here.
Come on. I've been wanting to talk to you about this.
You guys can learn what it takes to be the best partner that you can possibly be for each other. And that's what's so important. It also, you learn what it takes to preserve the good things that you have together, as well as overlooking the areas of your relationship that you might need some repair on.
Absolutely.
And so when you really break down these questions, you start thinking, we're doing really well, or, maybe we could do better at this. And it's a no harm zone. You're not going to get into safe zone. You're not going to get into panics or frustration with each other, because it's all just pure interest as to how we're doing it. We like to call it's the importance of relationship maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. And the question really becomes, how important is that to you? Okay. Is maintenance in your relationship and in your marriage in every dimension, is that important to you? Some of you may not care. Unfortunately, if you don't, that's probably not a good thing either.
Yeah.
Right.
One thing that we like to explain to people about relationship maintenance, it's almost like it's a correction.
Yes,
You
right.
know, everything
Mid-course correction, right?
mid-course correction. Everything needs to have some sort of a maintenance going on.
Sure.
Your appliances, even your kids, you got to keep them in line
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Everything. So why not your marriage?
Right.
Think about mid-course correction. Think about a pilot.
Uh-huh.
When a pilot is flying a plane, they put it on autopilot.
Yep.
Most times they're on autopilot. They go back and check because even if it's on autopilot,
That's
it
good.
could go off a little bit. And that plane going off just a little, and you're on the plane, you don't want it going off just a little, so because it could run into a building or it could run into another plane. So that mid-course correction is what that pilot goes and checks on that autopilot.
That's really good because one of the things that and maybe you were going to mention this, but you can be off just a little bit, like a little bit, and then all of a sudden, as the plane is flying, you're off course a little bit, and that became a lot.
Yeah, and
A little bit that becomes a
in your
lot.
marriage, that little mid-course correction could build up.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's like, well, I don't want to mention anything because it's not a big deal.
Right.
Well, the not a big deal becomes a big deal
Absolutely.
because you don't mention it and it just festers and festers. So this is what these 7 great questions, I'm telling you, these are questions that, again, only secure couples can ask.
And one thing I was going to say, again, this is really simple, but it was something I was thinking about as you were talking regarding maintenance. Okay. And I was going to say, okay, most of us have cars, right? And so there's this little thing called oil in your car. Can you imagine if a person just drove their car and didn't change the oil?
Yeah.
The simplicity of maintenance could like have a massive impact on the success of how long you're able to
Absolutely. Yeah.
operate that vehicle. Right?
Absolutely. So understand this. These questions are designed to tackle the difficult and uncomfortable aspects of romantic relationships. We're talking about those relationships that are romantic because
Right.
once you have a romance in a relationship, there's a bond there that is forming.
Yes.
And if you're not comfortable with that bond that's forming, you might have to tear it apart.
Right.
And the
Yeah.
best thing you can do is maybe ask these questions, have these set of questions, maybe quarterly or every 6 months, just to keep a balance, and you'll get comfortable after a while.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So just think about that. Sometimes these topics are avoided only because it's like, I don't want to talk about this. But addressing these questions with your partner, it's not about creating or preventing conflict, but instead about promoting your relationship,
You know
building
what?
it up.
And the thing is, if you're proactive about this and you're looking at seeking out hope and aspirations actually to grow better, the more proactive you are about this, the better it becomes.
Absolutely.
You know?
So you ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in.
So
Let's
we're going
take
to
a
ask
dive.
these. We're going to give you these questions, and we're going to give a little feedback on each one.
Yeah, we have a little
because we don't-
commentary on it.
Yeah, we don't want you to feel like, well, that's a question. I don't even know what that means. You know, so we're going to give a little, and we want you to comment,
Yeah.
subscribe. We always tell you, please like, subscribe, comment, share this with others, other
Exactly.
couples. Share this with engaged couples. Share this with couples who are just dating and possibly thinking about a lifetime together. But
So
we're going to delve in.
And what does it say? So I'm going to read through these, and then Corey's going to give us a little bit of a commentary on it, and I'll add a little bit as well. So number 1, okay, what's one habit of mine? Again, this is you having this conversation with your partner. What's one habit of mine that you find challenging to deal with, but haven't mentioned yet?
So we all feel like, oh, there's really nothing. No, yeah, there might be some challenges. And it could be a simple habit as you don't keep the toilet seat down. Or it could be as big as the house is always a mess.
Yeah.
And you're not doing your part. And these are challenges that you might think, well, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal because it becomes a big deal,
Yeah.
especially if you don't mention it. And here's the other side of that. Have you mentioned it and nothing's been done? So this is the conversation that you have here.
Right.
And again, it's a safe zone, but if you've mentioned it and it hasn't come out, then this is the time to bring it out and have a discussion about it.
You know, before we get to number 2, what I was going to add on that is it could be something as simple as you don't clean the ring of soap residue out of your sink. Imagine that. That someone's holding that. Okay.
Yeah.
So number 2, do you feel like there's an aspect of your identity that you've suppressed for the sake of our relationship?
Now that usually starts in new relationships. And again, we're talking about relationships that are sexual and have had time together which could be 2 months or time could be 2 years. But remember, your identity you can suppress your identity because you feel like, I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want this person to feel bad. I don't want this person to be offended. But you can't suppress your own identity because
It's good.
of someone else.
Yeah.
Who you are is what that other person is looking for. And if they're not, get out of the relationship.
Yeah.
So on both sides, the more you push down your identity, the less of you become, the less of you show. So again, answer that question with clarity. Yes, I haven't been honest with you about this, or I don't feel like I can be my extroverted self around you and your friends, or I don't, when you come home or when we're together, or you don't stick up for me in front of people, or all these type of things that you feel like they're being suppressed. This is your opportunity to share those. So we're giving you an idea or a thought pattern so that you can kind of weave through and think, what is there? Is there anything there?
It's good. Number 3, what part of our relationship do you think you've taken for granted recently?
Think about that, guys.
That's a good one.
So when I think about people, and again, remember, we're life coaches, and when I'm speaking to people, I speak to them on an individual basis, and sometimes we're speaking to couples.
Yeah, that's right.
And a lot of times it's the little things that are taken for granted. It's the gentleman who opens the door for his spouse or his partner. It's the woman who compliments her partner every time they're together. You look really nice, and they don't get it back. It's the little
Not funny,
things
actually.
in that are taken for granted because you get it so freely, because the other one is so easy in giving that away. But whenever you think you enjoy from your partner, try giving that back to them.
That's good.
Try giving that back to them, because it's something, again, we've talked about love languages. It's something that they enjoy doing. They probably enjoy receiving it too. And not necessarily all the time, but they might enjoy receiving it too.
So if you're just joining in here at Stephen and Corey and Get It Together, we're talking about 7 questions that only secure couples can handle.
Yeah.
It's kind of like providing you a basis to change the oil in your marriage. So number four, what are the best and worst changes you've noticed in me since we got together?
Oh, nobody wants to answer that, right? Oh, nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're perfect. There's no worst, but it's also the best changes also. So think about that. Again, everything is clean here. There's no
Safe space.
apprehensions. Everyone feels comfortable. And when we talk about doing this, I'm just going to put a little insert here. Make sure you're in a place of comfort,
Yes.
a place of confidence, that you feel like, I'm confident I can talk to my partner about this.
Right.
Quiet, relaxed. I wouldn't say do this in a restaurant, because you can't really be yourself in a restaurant,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
I'd say just relax, maybe sit on the sofa together and have a conversation and pull these questions out and just start talking. Have a cup of tea, coffee, wine, whatever it is, to relax you and know that this is good. I wouldn't say do this in the bed, because you can go to sleep with thoughts in your head that you haven't finished.
That's good.
So again, what's the best and worst changes you've noticed in me since we've been together? Again, that depends on how long you've been together. There could be best changes. Honey, I've noticed when you used to be shy about speaking up for yourself, and now, I love the fact that you feel confident enough to speak up for yourself. The worst could be, when I've used this one before, when we're in a group of people, you don't speak up for me. When people are slamming each other, or there's something that a lot of couples do, and that is that degrading humor,
Yeah.
and that cannot be building up your partner.
Self-deprecation is one thing, but spouse deprecation is
Yeah.
another. I don't think we want to be guilty of that.
No, because you're always leaving something in there,
Right.
in that partner's head that, well, she said she was kidding, but was she really kidding? So, best and worst changes, get those out, talk about them, and again, edify the best changes.
That's right.
Edify them, and the worst things, help to say, I will help you with that when I see that happen, or find out why they do it.
Yeah, that's good.
So again, these are 7 questions, but it's longer. That conversation could go on for an hour to 2 hours, just
Absolutely.
discussing it. And it's a flushing.
That's
It's
it.
a flushing of the negative
good.
and an edifying of the positive in your relationship.
That's awesome. Say that. So number 5, what's something I do that makes you feel insecure? What is something that I do is what you're saying as a spouse to your spouse.
Mhm.
What is something that I do that actually makes you feel insecure?
Mm. And it's a lot of times that's difficult to find because you're so used to it. But when your partner is asking you that, and again, as I said, this is something you can do quarterly or every 6 months. You might be holding that question going, okay, now I got it. They started doing this. I can't wait to tell them about this in 6 months. But the insecurity, once you share with them what that they do that makes you feel insecure, listen to their side because it might be a false insecurity. It
Yeah,
might be
yeah,
something that you're just really insecure about anyway, and they happen to do it.
yeah.
And is it edifying for you? And you just feel insecure about it? Are they building you up and you're like, I'm not that great. I wish you would stop doing it. But there are some people who have low self confidence and
Yeah,
somebody comes up and gives them edification and they can't handle it. They're like, you can't do that. That's not me. So find out if it's a benefit for you or if it's not. You might be insecure because it's so powerful and so positive.
sure.
But if it's negative, definitely get out of that and get away from that. And guess what? If your spouse or your partner doesn't want you doesn't want to change and you still feel insecure, you might need therapy for that. You might need counseling.
Sure. Absolutely. Number 6, is there a part of your life before our relationship that you miss? Is there a part of your life, okay, that before our relationship that you miss? That's a deep question to ask your
That is.
spouse.
And in most cases, I bet you'd say yes, because, being single and being a couple are two different lifestyles, right?
That's right.
And so some people might say, I miss having my alone time. Could you just leave me alone a little bit? Or some people might say, I really miss hanging out with my friends as much as I used to. My girlfriends or my guy friends. We used to be able to go out and hang out and fish all the time, and now we can't. So those are type of things that, again, those are physical things. It could just be the mental.
Right.
So share those because you do have a different life. And even if you miss it, it might be something that they say, well, I'll do that with you. You want to go fishing? Well, yeah, we can start doing that,
That's right.
Or, yeah, you want your alone time? Great. When you're alone, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, or I'm going to go to the gym or whatever. So these are things that you, again, let it fluctuate with your
Right.
relationship. And after 6 months, somebody might answer the question, go, I don't want to be alone anymore. Thank you, but I want my time back with you.
Hey, these are 7 questions that only secure couples or partners can handle.
Hmm.
Number 7, what is one thing you do for our relationship, okay, that you think goes unnoticed and wish I would acknowledge more?
Wow.
That's a good one. Alexis, so this is number 7,
And it's
okay?
a great way to finish off the questions because
Yeah,
when you start thinking about the things that you think go unnoticed. I bet you in your conversation when you say those things, no, I really appreciate it. But
right.
it gets back to, are you speaking it?
That's right.
Most of these are just, again, communication.
Yes. Yeah.
Communication is the core of the relationship. And when you can stay back on track, get that mid course correction, and you can get back on track, that helps you actually understand what does go unnoticed
Yeah.
and what I do want acknowledged more.
Right.
I know you love when I do this, but tell me,
That's right.
because even though I know it, I need you to tell me.
That's right.
And when you're told something and it's a positive, you want to do more of it, right? Or
Exactly.
when you're bragged about. Stephen's good at bragging about me. And I'm like, oh, thank
Yeah.
you. I mean, he'll tell people, my good sides, the things I do great. And it makes me want to do them more.
Yeah.
Is that what you tell them?
Oh, yeah.
He just wants me to do them more. But just
I
remember,
love when she makes the bed.
yeah, he does.
It's like incredible. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
I'm a
like,
stickler for
yeah.
the military corners and all that stuff. Yeah,
Oh, she's
and
really
I
good about it.
spray linen scent all over it. So
I
yeah,
love that she's so clean. I mean, literally, she's like really, really clean. Like some people call it OCD or something like that. I don't think it's
I don't
OCD. I
either.
think it's normal. Don't tell her it's OCD because I want her to just keep doing what she's doing.
It's
Anyway,
funny.
I love that.
Just thank you,
Yeah.
but be prepared for answers that may be uncomfortable.
Make this fun, guys. Make this fun as you dive into this. As you
Yeah.
dive into this, make this fun. We're going to be wrapping up here in just a minute because I want to kick back to you and talk about this last season has been
Yeah.
fantastic.
So as you're doing this, listen with an open mind.
Open
Just
mind.
be and remember that these answers are shared out of love and transparency. That's it. Love and transparency. It's all about building a stronger relationship together. together, and that maintenance that relationships need.
Yes.
And most people don't want to deal with it. They don't
Absolutely.
want to even talk about it. So forgive yourself for any discomfort, and
Yep.
forgive your partner also for not expressing these thoughts
Yep.
sooner. So just remember, don't hold a grudge. Maybe you didn't even know how to have the conversation. So these
Yeah.
7 questions will get you started. You might come up with more questions after
Right.
this, you know?
Right.
So,
And again, consider this maintenance,
mm-hmm,
maintenance on your relationship.
mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are, end of the season, and we've so enjoyed you guys, enjoyed your feedback, enjoyed our guest, enjoyed the topics.
Yes. So we'll be coming back, and we're going to be diving into a variety of different, really important issues,
Mm-hmm,
as well as some great guests. We endeavor to bring you stories of everyday couples who have
mm-hmm.
found a way to get it together in their relationship and in their life.
Yeah.
So until then, don't forget to like, subscribe, right?
And share.
And share.
Yes. And follow us on all our links:
Yes.
Spotify, Instagram, YouTube,
Rumble,
Rumble,
Facebook.
Facebook, everywhere that you have social media accounts, you can follow us there.
Follow us there.
Take care, and we will see you next season
See you
from
next
Get It
season.
Together Together.